He's wearing maroon. Show you another person here sitting there under the tree after the shot, and he's wearing maroon. Hundreds of emails from people past and presently in the military around the world. And they said, yes, Candace, that is military.
Now, up next, guys, we've got to check in with Candace Owens, who her theories about Charlie Kirk's death continue to get crazier. She just did an interview with Russell Brand, who was an actor for a long time and is now in the independent podcasting space. He's kind of out there guy. Anyway, Candace spoke to Russell and he asked her some questions that weren't even hostile questions, but she kind of made herself look rather questionable with her responses, even though they weren't even very difficult questions. In one of them, he just asked her straight up, because there's been a lot of confusion about what exactly are you saying and what aren't you saying when it comes to Charlie Kirk's death. She said, the military did it. The Trump administration is in on it. TPUSA all betrayed Charlie, all this stuff. And she somehow connected it to everyone from Israel to Egypt to France and beyond. So he just asked her straight up, like, what exactly are you saying here? And this is hilarious. Listen to this exchange that he had with Russell Brand.
Do you think these things are connected? Brigitte Macron's true identity and Charlie Kirk's murder?
Yes, I think it's all connected. And I think in many ways we already live in this sort of one world government system. Maybe it's two worlds, but in terms of the West, I don't think there's any difference in the governments. And that's kind of the point that we're making, and maybe why the Charlie Kirk case is so crucial, because it's showing us that, wait, what is the divide here between America and Israel and France, right? Somebody in the French government alerted me to an assassination attempt. Shouldn't that require a comment from the President of the United States? It was the most viral global story for 3 days, and the White House has chosen not to comment. What does that signal to the population? That it's okay for France to be involved in assassination attempts? That should alarm people.
No, Candace. What it signals is that they don't believe you? That the people at the highest levels of government, from Kash Patel to Dan Bongino to Donald Trump, who you alerted about this super duper real threat to your life from the French government, don't think it's real. All their intelligence and evidence does not support your crazy theories, and that's why they're not taking it seriously. Not because they've decided it is fine for the French couple to put out a hit on an American podcaster. Yeah, which one of those two scenarios is most likely? I don't think it's that one. And I love the first part here. She's asked very explicitly, is Brigitte Macron's identity, by which they're referring to Candace's theory, which of course the Macrons deny, that Brigitte was born a man and is a secret trans woman with a penis, is that connected to Charlie Kirk's death? And she says, yes. What? Guys, I have watched hours and hours and hours of Candace's content, many of her episodes about this, and even her ardent followers or people who are sympathetic to her are really struggling to keep up with her theories, because she is simultaneously saying that this plot to assassinate Charlie, which of course Tyler Robinson wasn't involved, or wasn't the shooter, or killer rather is what she says, even though there's so much evidence against him, she has suggested over and over again that involves everyone from the FBI to the Utah State Police to local authorities to Turning Point USA to Israel to Egypt to France to the US military. All these people were involved in a plot to kill Charlie Kirk somehow, with like a lot of random tips to her email inbox that only she has cracked. And for why, what motivation do a lot of these people have to engage in such a conspiracy or harm Charlie in any way? Most of that is left unclear or simply speculated about or taken for granted. It is crazy stuff, and it makes absolutely no sense, but millions of people are just munching the popcorn as this woman continues to spiral further into her, I don't know, postpartum psychotic delusions of different kinds. And it's really tough to watch. But notice how she never actually explained how it's connected. She said, yes, it's connected, but then never connected it. There's so much of that in her content. She really is leading people astray. But then she does this thing that really pisses me off. She hides behind, well, I'm just asking questions. That's all she's doing. She's just asking questions, guys. Listen.
Charlie's life could have been the Truman Show. That terrifies me more, that nothing in your life is real. Genuinely, I was expecting, we're all getting the old band back together and it's going to be me and Shrub and I'm going to have the FBI help me investigate this and we're going to figure out what happened to my friend. And it was like, Candace is the enemy for asking questions. Was Charlie Kirk's life real is what I think I cried the hardest about, because how are you not fighting for him?
So there's something kind of wild that Candace does, which is that in one breath, she'll suggest that the FBI is in on the plot to kill Charlie Kirk and fabricated text messages to frame Tyler Robinson and all this stuff. So she thought they were Discord messages and they were text messages. She doesn't even know the facts. That was a whole thing I covered where CNN interviewed her and she got basic facts about it all wrong. Yeah, so she'll do this and then she'll be like, but why aren't they working with me? Well, girl, you just accused them of murder 5 minutes ago. So why aren't they helping me? Would you, if somebody was spreading insane theories about you, be like, yes, please come, let's work together, let's be BFFs? I don't think so. And it does bother me that Candace Owens always comes back to this, I'm just asking questions. No, you are not. You are not just asking questions. You have over and over again made specific allegations and assertions. And those assertions are unfounded and they are often implicate people in very serious wrongdoing. And that's not just asking questions. I mean, I'll give you examples. She has definitively stated that the killing of Charlie Kirk was a U.S. military operation. She has directly accused the federal government and other law enforcement of fabricating evidence against Tyler Robinson. She has definitively stated that Turning Point USA betrayed Charlie Kirk, their friend and leader. She also just said on an Instagram story, I'll put this on screen yesterday, it feels like today will be the day that the government can no longer deny it. Charlie Kirk was assassinated and our military was involved. I can't wait to share this information with you guys today. And then, of course, she did not provide any sort of bombshell evidence of that in her actual show. It was a very long, meandering rant about this unrelated tip she received from a former military person that she just took at face value, I guess. I don't know. And he didn't, it's so complicated, it's hard to even explain, but she did not, in fact, have a smoking gun showing that somehow Charlie Kirk was killed by the U.S. military. And so if you want to make wild accusations and claims, okay, you have a right to do that. And we should discuss them and dissect them. But what you can't do is accuse people of grievous wrongdoing and then be like, why are you mad? I'm just asking questions. No, you're not. You are impugning people and making allegations against people. That's not just asking questions. So I find this very disingenuous and dishonest when people do it. I want to play you another clip from Candace's show about a week ago where she put a bunch of random men's faces and images on screen from the event at UVU where Charlie Kirk was killed and suggested they were involved in his death because they were wearing the color maroon. I'm not kidding. That is what happened. You don't have to take my word for it. Here's a clip.
Here we go. We have this young man. This is after the shot. He's wearing maroon. Show you another person here sitting there under the tree after the shot, and he's wearing maroon. Show you another person here. We're going to come back to this person who is wearing maroon because his dad is going to say something publicly. 3 people, 1 shot, all of them alone, wearing maroon. We're going to come back to the guy at the top there who has the hat, the darker hat on, who's wearing maroon. Just like these strapping young men all wearing maroon. We've got this guy in the bush wearing maroon. I could go on and on. This person of how many people were wearing maroon. I even have a video of someone holding a maroon shirt. Okay. So I mentioned that quite casually. And that thing happened where there was an overreaction for no reason online. So I knew that I was on the right track and I should probably keep going. And I said something, I think it was on X or maybe it was on the show. And then we received hundreds of emails from people past and presently in the military around the world. And they said, yes, Candace, that is military.
Well, guys, she received emails. So that really settles it. You know? Think about this for a second. Candace Owens has one of the most popular podcasts in the world. Everything she posts on YouTube is viewed millions of times. Millions of people listen to her audio podcast feed. She put these random young men's faces on screen in connection. She's suggesting a connection to the murder of Charlie Kirk based on the fact they were wearing maroon shirts. Can't y'all see how that is like just objectively a wildly irresponsible thing to do, and certainly is a lot more than just asking questions? You're putting a target on these men's back. You are implicating them in something heinous, all based on this random thing that proves nothing. I have several maroon shirts. I think I was wearing one when I filmed the podcast like yesterday or the other day. I've never been in the military. I have no connection to the military. Maroon is just a popular freaking color, people. It is not proof of some military conspiracy. Yet this is the level of investigation she is engaging in. Then she's like, why doesn't the FBI want to work with me? Maybe because you're freaking crazy, Candace. And you're getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And then she does this thing they all do where they say, well, people are mad at me for saying insane shit, so I must be right. That is like how you talk yourself into genuine delusion and insanity, is because it's possible that people are upset with you because you're over the target, but it's also possible that people are upset with you because you're wildly wrong, you're being grossly irresponsible, and you're falsely accusing people of heinous things without evidence. So which of those is more likely? And if you just view any time people get mad at you as proof you are right, I don't know, was Osama bin Laden right then? Because he sure made a lot of people mad. Like, it's just so bizarre. And the fact that millions of people continue to trust this woman as a source of information genuinely boggles my mind and makes me deeply, deeply, deeply pessimistic about everything. Other than that, though, she's doing great over here, just asking questions with Candy. You guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and all of that.